friends, now we have got a brand new topic today, interchange of the degrees of comparison. You can see, do you remember in your secondary, primary classes probably, you might have studied this, no? Est, yes. Stronger, strong, then comparative, this is positive degree, then comparative is stronger, isn't it? And superlative is strongest, isn't it? But while you have got also other good, better and best, bad, worse and worst, isn't it? So that is, one is positive degree, the other is comparative degree, and the other is superlative degree. Now suppose you get a sentence in a comparative degree or a superlative degree or a positive degree, you should be in a position to change them to, say, if it is positive, you should change it to comparative. If it is comparative, you should change it to superlative. I like that. Interchange, you can see, isn't it? Interchange of degrees of comparison. Now look at this. You can see, let's have an example like this. You have got no other man was as so strong as Bhima. You know Bhima, the character Bhima in Mahabharata, said Bhima. Yes. So he said no other man was so strong as. So this is positive degree. And both sides it is supported by one, this is so, and the other is as. See that? So no other man was so strong as Bhima. Now you are asked to, very often it happens, in all the examinations you will find this. PSC test, IELTS, or YT, or TOEFL, or any competitive exam, you will find a question like this. Change the sentence into positive or negative, or change the sentence into superlative, like that. So then in the same way, you can see no other man, but the meaning should not change. No other man was so strong as Bhima. Now what you have to do, if you are going to change that into comparative, this no other should undergo a change. And that will be, instead of no other, you should use any other. Any other. And rewrite this sentence. So how will you begin this sentence? How will you say no other man should become any other man? So how will you say? Start like Bhima. Okay. So the sentence should, starting also changes now. So we said Bhima was stronger, see, stronger, comparative. Bhima was stronger than any other man. Any other man. See, look at that. No other man has become any other man. So Bhima was stronger than. So you have to insert than. Yes. That's a comparison. One is better than that. Worse than that. Cleverer than he. Like that. So Bhima was, see the change in the sentence. The whole sentence, there is a structural change you will find. No other man has become any other man. And you started the positive degree with no other man, but comparative, any other man comes at the end of the sentence. Right? Now here, so as deleted. And then instead you have got the comparative degree. And starts with Bhima. So that is subject Bhima. Now let's say how do you make that into, change that into superlative degree. Superlative, you know, the adjective should be preceded by the article. You remember when we were studying articles, do you remember? No? You are one of the uses of the definite article is with superlative degree. So with superlative degree you have to use the. Okay, in that case what will you see? So instead of the stronger you should see the strongest. Isn't it? The strongest. Then what else? You can say Bhima was the strongest, and any other will become of all men. Any other man. This is any other man of all men. So Bhima was the strongest of all men. Did you get this? So this is the pattern. Once you learn this pattern, it becomes easy. But sometimes you have to you try to understand it in this way. See, a positive degree should begin with no other. The comparative degree, no other changes into any other. And in superlative degree, the plus superlative degree, there's no other changes to of all men, of all things, anything like that. Understand? And also you find the change in these adjectives. This is applicable to adverbs also, comparison. Same pattern is the same. No other in the positive degree becomes any other in the comparative with than, of course. There should be than also. But then there is deleting. You delete so and as. And then you insert than. Okay. Here you insert the definite article plus the superlative degree of the adjective and of all men. So the key words to remember are no other positive, any other, no other positive, any other comparative, and of all, that is superlative. Understand? So let's see, we'll try this once again. We'll try with the other sentence. Then we can understand it much better, I think. No? Yes. So let's see. Becomes easy for us. You suggest one. You make a sentence. What do you want to do? What sentence you want to do? Okay, let's say like that. Let's say Solomon. Solomon is known to you. So we can. Let's begin the other way around. Okay. Solomon was the wisest man in the world. Okay? Wisest man in the world. Now you have to change this into a positive degree. So how will you begin positive degree? With no other. So we'll begin like this. No other man was so wise as Solomon. Understand? Solomon. No other man was so wise as Solomon. Now what about comparative degree? Here is a Solomon was wiser than any other man in the world. Any other man in the world. Did you see that? It's very nice. To play with this degrees of comparison, it is very nice. So remember, always the positive degree begins with no other, comparative degree than any other, and the other one of all, the strongest or the plus superlative and of all. Listen. Okay, let's see one more. What do you want? Okay, let's say like this. You can say which one you want to say. Yes. Okay, here let's make a sentence with a city. What city you want? Calcutta. Okay. Calcutta is the most crowded, okay, city in India. The most crowded city in India. Most crowded. That is, you can have what do you call this superlative. Okay, let's have a comparative. Then how will you say? How will you say? Calcutta is more crowded than any other city in India. Calcutta is more crowded than any other city in India. Did you get it? Yes. Now what will be the positive degree? Positive degree will be no other city in India is so crowded as Calcutta. Is more crowded than Calcutta. Sorry, is so crowded as Calcutta. Did you get that? Yes. You want one more? You want one more example? Okay, you generate an example of yours. Then you will see. Yeah. You can think about another mythological character, famous mythological character. No? Do you remember? Yes. There are many. Hercules is one. Samson is another. You can Bhima, you can say. Yes. So what will you say? Say, make a sentence about Samson. Come on, you can do that, no? So what do you want? Positive degree, yes. No other man was as heavy. Heavy, you can say heavy. Right? Yes. No other man was as heavy as so heavy as Samson. Okay. No other man was so heavy as Samson. So what will be the comparative? Or first letter is the superlative. Yes. What is the superlative? Samson was heavier. Yes. Heavier than any other man. Not man, any other man. Okay. Then, superlative, Samson was the heaviest man. Heaviest man, yes. Heaviest of all men. Sorry. Heaviest of all men. Samson was the heaviest of all men. So no other becomes any other than, sorry here, any other than, here it is. But it is written to than any other man, than any other, and of all. Understand? So that's simple, I think. So you can go on playing with a language game like this. No? One of you should generate a positive degree, then another person can generate a comparative degree, then another person can change it like this. Okay. Now here is another very interesting thing about connected with this. With that we will today's discussion we will wind. Suppose you get a sentence like this. See the difference between the Samson was the heaviest The heaviest man. Heaviest man in the world, okay. In the world. Now this is okay, you know how to do this. Suppose you say you get a sentence like this. Samson was one of the, see this one of the heaviest men in the world. What will you do? One of the, not the heaviest, but one of the heaviest. So what will you do? How are you going to do this? Can we say like this? Samson was one of the heavier men than one of the heavier than any other. You cannot say like that. Or no other one of the men. You cannot say like that. So how will you start this? Very simple. You can say like this. First you should say, see the meaning. That means there are many heaviest persons in the world. Bhima was heaviest, Hercules was heaviest. Let's say like that. Just think like that. Or you have got, who is that? Began was heaviest. Began, yes. Bega, that Rakshasa, giant, Bega, he was the heaviest man. So there are many. So you can say like this, it's like if you put a circle like this, you have got Bhima here, okay? Then you have got Began here, Bega, BK. You have got Hercules here, Hercules. You have got Samson here, Sam. So there are 4 people. Now the sentence says that, the first sentence says, no doubt, that is Samson. All the others are excluded. But this sentence, second sentence says, there are equally heavy people like this. So what will you do? So one of them. So how are you going to change that? In that case, what you should say, you start the sentence with the very few. Understand? You can say like this, very few men, very few men in the world, very few men in the world, very few men in the world are very few men in the world are heavier than Samson. So that's it. So you have to say like this, very few men in the world are heavier than Samson. So very few means 1, 2, 3. In this case, here is Samson. He is heaviest. So very few men in the world are heavier than Samson. And how are you going to start the positive? You can say most of the men. You can say most of. See the change. Most of the men in the world are so heavy as Samson. Most of the men in the world are not so heavy. Not are so heavy, are not so heavy. That's heavy as Samson. So sometimes what happens, this question makers, they will give you a sentence like this. Samson was one of the heaviest men in the world. Rewrite in the negative. So you cannot say Samson was not one of the heaviest men in the world. So that is indirectly what they want is this answer. Most of the men in the world are not so heavy as Samson. Then this becomes negative without changing the meaning. Did you get that? So if you get one of that phrase, start the comparative with very few and the superlative, and the positive with the most of. Okay, let's say once again, one more you can see. You can see one more example, then I think it will be clearer to you. Okay? Yes, there you are. here we come. That is, think about the peak. Okay. Everest is one of the highest peaks in the world. Everest is one of the highest peaks in the world. Everest is one of the change of pen. Everest is one of the highest peaks in the world. So how will you start? Come on. Let's start comparative. Very few peaks. Very few peaks in the world are very few are higher than Everest. So very few peaks in the world are higher than Everest. And how will you start the positive? Never make negative of this sentence. Most of the peaks in the world are not so high as Everest. I think now it's clear to you. So in case you get one of this phrase and the superlative, start the comparative with very few and the positive with the most of the peaks. Clear? Is that clear? So this is all about interchange of comparisons. Understand that? You can say, you say, no other man in the class is so fast as Tom. And then comparative will be, Tom is faster than any other boy in the class. And the superlative will be, Tom is the fastest boy in the class. If it is one of the, you have to say, Tom is one of the fastest boys in the class, then you will say, very few boys are faster than, very few boys in the class are faster than Tom. Most of the boys in the class are not so fast as Tom. If it is one of them. I think it's clear. You are not out, I suppose. Therefore, you'll wind up for this evening. And goodbye. Take care. Have a nice time. Enjoy.